with the specialist and also at home. This way, Hannah will have a stronger chance of overcoming her processing challenges in the future.
Once we actually sat down and played the game with the kids today, I noticed that Hannah wasn't as sensitive with the sounds, so that's already a plus. Thump, thump, thump. Okay. Can you say thump, thump, thump? For us, the auditory processing disorder is just a bump in the road. We're not really worried about how Hannah's going to turn out. We're pretty convinced that we can get past this. It's a small challenge that we'll overcome.
So we just saw not only therapy outside the home, but doing things inside the home. So Chris, what kinds of things do you do at home with Julian?
Well, we have adapted our home to Julian in many ways. We have a trampoline for him to jump on. We have balls, sensory balls. We wrap him in a blanket so he feels more comfortable, more organized and focused. Every day when he eats, electric toothbrush even, to give him sensory inputs.
Has it been
so
difficult?
Many tools.
How has it affected you?
It's difficult because we're always in therapy. He receives 16 hours a week of therapy. So there are times when my friends call me up and say, hey, let's go to the park for a play date. And I go, I can't, I have to do therapy again. And it's Monday through Friday, every day.
Is that typical, Katherine, that amount of therapy needed?
For each child, the amount is different depending on if it's the one diagnosis or if there's other diagnoses involved. But we do know that maximum intervention at the earliest stage is what gets the most result. And those children who are caught very early, as your son was, hopefully later in life he's not going to have the educational challenges that he would have if, let's say, he had gone till age 5 or 6 and started kindergarten and then already had these issues that had to still be worked on. So I think it's great when we get kids so early and we get them into maximum therapies.
And this question is for Kelly and Candace. How do you work with the parents that have children with APD?
For me, I have an ongoing communication daily with the parents, whether it be through written or calling them, and that way they can write in or call me and say, we're really worried about this type of behavior that we're seeing, and then we can work together on what's going to work for the family in the home as well as in the site that we work in.
How about you, Candace?
Well, I basically just listen to my sister. She tells me what to do, and I adapt in my own home. I adapt her instructions to our needs, and in her home I do the same.
So you do things in your home. You were telling me a little earlier, what specific things do you do in your home when you take care of your nephew versus when you take care of him at her home?
Actually the only difference is no TV and shutting the door to my son's room.
Your older son's room?
My older son's room, yes.
Okay, and does that help? How have you seen an improvement?
I have. We have fewer breakdowns, as we call them, and frustrated episodes. So.
And what are your hopes for your nephew?
Well, he's had such a hard time in school, and he's had a hard time with other children and other parents, and my hope for him is that he doesn't turn out, feel like an outcast at all, and he excels in school. He's a bright child, so I just hope these problems don't follow him.
And that's why, Katherine, you talked about early intervention, because they can catch up?
Definitely, they can catch up. They can, for some children, they may all their life have some little compensatory skills, some things they do as they get into college. They can't just take it all from listening to a lecture, so they tape record, they take more notes, things like that. But the majority of young children, if we start early at this preschool age, we definitely see complete resolution in a lot of these auditory processing areas.
And Chris, what are the biggest changes have you seen in Julian?
I haven't seen any words yet.
Okay.
That's still concerning, but he's only 2. What I see is him being able to focus. When we fit into his sensory needs, he gives us eye contact. He responds to his name. He's jumping and I go, Julian, Julian, and there he is. There you are. There's my son.
How soon can you expect to see results with therapy?
A lot of it will just depend on each child, and as much intervention can be done both outside the home and in the home. There's so many things that a parent can do auditory based in the home. Playing preschool music and having the child march around the living room, and then when the music stops, like the old musical chairs, the child stops, like a freeze tag, you know? So you're tuning them into hearing something and doing something because of it, that sound.
Thank you all for talking about your experiences as well. Dalila, we hope we've given you helpful advice about auditory processing disorder and why early intervention is so important. Here's a recap of what we've learned today about the symptoms, early intervention and treatment of auditory processing disorder. First, APD affects how children recognize and interpret what they hear. If you have concerns about how your child hears or uses language, contact your pediatrician or your local school district to request an evaluation. And finally, if healthcare professionals suspect your child exhibits early symptoms of auditory processing disorder, seek treatment to minimize its impact on his continual development. We learned a lot about auditory processing disorder today. If you want more information, go to our website, aplaceofourown.org, where you can download tips, use our multimedia service, or talk online with others. Remember, you are your child's first teacher. We'll see you next time on A Place of Our Own.
Exclusive corporate funding for A Place of Our Own is provided by: Is it possible to have a car and a clean environment? Can solar power become mainstream? Can business be a force for good? We think so, and the people of BP are going beyond petroleum to try. BP, powering the next generation. Major funding is also provided by:
It's just a donut. It's just a donut and some cookies. It's just a donut, cookies, and some soda. But it's not just that. It's obesity, it's type 2 diabetes, it's heart disease, and it's in your hands.
The Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Additional support is provided by the following. To order DVD compilations of A Place of Our Own containing children's activities and solutions to common child care problems, call PBS Home Video at 1-800-PLAY-PBS.
We are PBS.